In the spring of 1965, they got their chance. Jerry Garcia and his wife, Sarah Rippenthal, were eager to try psychedelic drugs. As teenagers in the suburbs south of San Francisco, each had smoked marijuana. In fact, one of Garcia's friends, Robert Hunter, had given Rippenthal her first funny cigarette. She thought marijuana brought out her husband's irresponsible side, but she was curious about LSD. I had always wanted to do psychedelics, she recalled later. I'd read Aldous Huxley's Doors of Perception when I was a teenager and really wanted to expand my consciousness. If hers was an unusually literary introduction to psychedelics, The Doors of Perception was an unusual book. Published in 1954, it recounted a single day in the life of the English intellectual tripping on mescaline in and around his Hollywood home. The book's title echoed a passage from William Blake's The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is. Infinite, Blake wrote. For man has closed himself up till he sees all things through narrow chinks of his cavern. Ingesting mescaline, which was legal, would put Huxley in direct contact with that insight. Intrigued by the links between drugs, consciousness, and art, Huxley knew that mescaline had been isolated from peyote in the late 1890s, that British physician Havelock Ellis had experimented with it in the 1920s, and that Ellis had supplied poet William Butler Yeats with peyote. Yeats reported that he had seen the most delightful dragons puffing out their breath straight in front of them like rigid lines of steam. At age 59, Huxley had already led a remarkable life. Born into a family of prominent writers, scientists, and physicians, he studied literature at Oxford and established himself as a successful novelist, poet, and journalist. His fifth novel, the dystopian Brave New World, appeared in 1932. It was both a jab at the earlier utopian works of H.G. Wells and a complex response to the fast-paced, unreflective, and technology-obsessed mass society that Huxley saw around him, especially in America. In that novel, an overweening state encourages its citizens to drink soma, a hallucinogen that pacifies its users and provides a measure of temporary transcendence and communion. Brave New World brought Huxley even more notoriety, but his outspoken pacifism in the 1930s alienated him from his British peers, and he decided to move to the United States. In 1937, Huxley arrived in Hollywood and soon began mixing screenwriting assignments with fiction and nonfiction. After the Republican Party took control of the House of Representatives in 1946, the House Committee on Un-American Activities subpoenaed the Hollywood 10, the so-called unfriendly witnesses who declined to answer questions about their alleged membership in the Communist Party. 4 years later, Congress launched a second investigation of leftists in the film industry, and this time Huxley was identified as a communist fellow traveler. His film career collapsed after a cover story in Counterattack, a right-wing magazine, described him as a communist dupe.
Para seguir escuchando este audiolibro gratuitamente, haz clic en el enlace de la descripción y podrás escucharlo completo sin coste gracias a la prueba de 30 días de Audible.